CDFS 210. We're going to try to do something a little bit different this week, and we're going to use this video as a time for me to use personal experiences and to delve a little bit deeper into the content that we're looking at this week, but also still use my Friday check-in for dates and some things like that. So we are talking about the elementary years right now. So as I mentioned before, I was a preschool teacher and I have two of my own children. They're 9 and 12. So right now I am fully immersed into the elementary age. My daughter is 9 years old and she's in the 4th grade. So not only is she being socialized by her brother and my husband and myself, but she is also going to school. She spends a large majority of her day in the classroom. So she's receiving information from her teachers and her peers and her friends. But then also in the evening, she is going to dance class and she is going to violin lessons and she's going to her brother's cross-country meet. So she's engaging with a lot of different people and a lot of different situations. My husband and I are purposeful and thinking about the questions that we're asking when she returns from those places and events. So what kind of things did you talk about? What kind of experiences did you have? Because then we can utilize those experiences and those examples and create real life situations. So those are really important for us to be able to draw from, but it also has to be very purposeful in our thinking. In regards to thinking about the larger community, my children need to understand that it's not just the 4 of us sitting at home. It's not just mom, dad, brother, and sister, but there is a greater community that that's not just about me or about serving my needs. So we are very purposeful and seeking out volunteer opportunities. And those volunteer opportunities can be something that the kids want to do or something that we find to be valuable as a family. For instance, we like to volunteer at the Rosenbaum and the Ronald McDonald House making dinner. Most recently, about 2 weeks ago, we were at the Ronald McDonald House cooking dinner, and there you have to cook the dinner and then you serve it for the families. The kids had to think about what kind of menu did they want, what kind of things did we need to buy, what kind of things might the house not have, so that when we got there we were fully prepared. But it also provided them opportunities to engage with the families and the children. In specifics, my 9-year-old daughter spent a great deal of time with the infants or toddlers that were at the house. She was in the family room or the children's family room area, and she was playing with the children. When we left, she had a great deal of questions about if those children were sick, what were they doing there, why were they doing the things that they were doing, how are they going to be helped, what are the doctors doing, how long will they have to stay there. You get the idea. It made her think about it's just not about me. It's about serving the greater community, and I think that especially at this age and moving forward, that children need opportunities to think about life outside of themselves, because it certainly becomes difficult. We got so preoccupied in what can I do for me and when's my next activity and what are my needs, that we forgot about the greater community and what that needs to be done. So that's something very specific that in this time in my children's life, and especially in the elementary years, I believe is important. In regards to discipline. Discipline's an interesting thing because and through the elementary years, especially as they get into the older elementary years, they have an idea of pushing the limits. And that's something that we all do, right? From very early on, how far can I go with something in order for me to get away with it, or not even get away with it, but to continue on. So one of the things that we really try to do is provide them opportunities to establish their own forms of discipline. So if they are engaged in a certain activity, then we need to make it applicable to that activity and not just something arbitrarily decided 2 weeks later that they're going to be punished for. So really making those connections and talking to them about those connections. And I often find when we put the control in their hands that the punishments are greater, much greater than what my husband or I would ever say to them. So in regards to that, we will often dial it back. Okay, maybe a month is not an appropriate thing, appropriate discipline. So that it covers a couple of areas. We talked about socialization, we talked about discipline, and we talked about social responsibility. So thank you, and I hope you're having a great week.